So hi, I'm sitting here with Raoul Barbet, and he is one of the directors at Dontnod Entertainment, and we are talking about Captain Spirit, maybe about other games too. So first about Captain Spirit. It's a rather short game, it's free, and I don't understand why.
Yeah, like a lot of people, it's a surprise. It will be a narrative experience, but it's between like 1 and 2 hours, so it's quite long for a free experience. And yeah, why? I think it begins with the process of creation of Life is Strange 2. Just after Life is Strange 1, with the same teams, the same directors and the writer, we begin to think about a new story with new characters, and Chris was one of them. Very quickly we wanted to explore some other teams around this character, and we talk a bit about with Square Enix and think about a free experience we can give really as a gift to the players
why
and the
free?
fans.
Is it a sort of marketing for the upcoming Life is Strange 2, or is it just out of the goodness of your heart?
I think it's a decision between creators and publishers, so it's always a lot of discussion. On our side, as creators, it's really something incredible, because when you're creating a game, you really want the players to play, and here as it's free, you've got a lot
Many players to
yeah,
play.
I hope so.
Yeah.
And even on a creative aspect, the fact that it is free, you can really change the design and the way you're writing the experience. Here it's more like, oh, you're going to spend a morning as a child, and the fact that it's free allows us to give a lot of details, and player has to replay to find all the details you have in this gift.
So the game is set in the same world, I think in the same village?
No, it's this story takes place 3 years after the first Life is Strange, and it's in a town named Beaver Creek.
Okay.
So it's a fictional town in Oregon. Yeah, and it takes place in the same universe as Life is Strange 1 and of course Life is Strange 2.
Yeah, and I think there are some similarities, like I think there's a letter from the school teacher or
Yeah.
and this ties them together.
Yeah, this is a type of small details we want to have, of course for the fans, and also to really like anchor all those stories into the same universe. It's important for us.
So did you realize at some point, well, Chris is a nice boy, but he will not carry a whole game, or why will you not make him the main person in Life is Strange 2?
I think the process, we will talk about Life is Strange 2 soon, but I think the process comes really when we have created the story of Life is Strange 2. It's more that Chris was here and we wanted to do something in parallel about other themes, but the story of Chris is the perfect introduction to the theme you will have in Life is Strange 2. So you will understand that it's really linked.
Okay.
When
Life is Strange 2 comes out.
I think Chris having his own game shows that it's a very relatable character. I hope.
Dontnod Entertainment was founded for the purpose of creating Remember Me, which was a strange mix of fighting game and also climbing game, but also very story driven, with a very dense atmosphere and this futuristic, not so nice future. So far there has not been announced a second part, but still with Vampire there was not a similar game, but also let's start with a real game created by you, in opposite to the story-driven games of Remember Me, of Life is Strange. So is this your plan for the future, to have the story-driven side and the real game side, or is that just coincidence? What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah. I think what is really interesting with Dontnod Entertainment is that so we are different teams working on different projects. So for example, the team of Life is Strange, so I'm the co-director with Michel Cor, and we are working on Life is Strange 2 since the end of Life is Strange. So it's a different team which work on Vampire, and another team working on the other narrative game. So I think it gives a lot of creativity to the studio, and also allows us to create, like you say, different style of games. So I won't speak for the other team. So yeah, I think you will have a lot of new games of different styles in the studio. And just talking about Remember Me, at this moment the studio was really creating one game, so I was working on the cinematic aspect and the narrative aspect into the game at this time. And yeah, I think it was a very ambitious game for a studio, a new studio, a AAA game like this, very dense with a lot of gameplay ideas, different gameplay ideas inside. So because you had the memory remix also, the combat, and all the, I would say, the universe, the Bible around, how do you say, all the information about this universe is huge. And yeah, I was really happy to work on it. I think we could have created a lot of different games and story inside this universe, but it's Capcom who owns the rights, so it will be a Capcom decision to...
If there will be a second part, And as a new studio, you had no way of negotiating a better deal for yourself.
I think there is a lot of discussion around, since also the release of Life is Strange, but yeah, I won't talk about this.
So when you're working on a story-driven game, isn't there an urge sometimes to make it more interactive, to add more game mechanics? Because you could still tell the story of Life is Strange if there would be more gamey or normal game-like mechanics in there. Why don't you do that?
I think the purpose where we're creating a game like Life is Strange, like we have done with Life is Strange, is to create an experience that the player could really relate to they could relate to the characters we have created, and also to the story and the themes we are creating. For Life is Strange 1, for example, the important aspect of the game was to talk about how you were when you were a teenager and the choices you have to make, and the difficulties to make those choices, but also to live with those choices. So we have created this mechanic of rewind, because I think it gives a lot of depth to those choices and to the story of Max and Chloe. So I think it's interesting to link those mechanics together. When you say adding some other mechanics, yeah, of course, why not? And we think about it every day. But I think
just an example, in Captain Spirit, when I am taming the water heater, why don't you add a little game where I actually have to do something? Would that really digress too far from the story experience?
Yeah, we of course we could. After it's also I would say production constraints, some mechanics we have or not, and on each sequence we ask ourselves, could we add this kind of mechanic or this kind of mechanics, for example? So you will find in Captain Spirit some new mechanics of gameplay, depending on the sequence. There is some specific sequence when you can, I don't know, aim and stuff like that. But it really depends of what is the feeling we want to give to the player. And yeah, but after adding some mechanics, costs also, dev time, design time, etc., that we not have for every sequence. I would love to be able to add a lot of different mechanics, but yeah, you have to make some choice and to also think about what will be the one absolutely necessary to tell this story and to make the experience great for the player.
So we've talked about Remember Me, there could be a sequel if Capcom wants it, you want to do it. Life is Strange 2 is coming out. Are there, Vampire has just come out, are there any projects you would like to do in the future? You could give us a hint about?
Again, as I'm working only on the Life is Strange game for now, on our side, our team has to finish the Life is Strange 2, so it will take some time. So, but yeah, of course, we've got a lot of projects and ideas for in the near future. But yeah, the other team also of Dontnod will, I think, announce some stuff soon.
Okay, Raoul,
thank you
very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.